Have you ever stood in your kitchen, reaching for a small handful of nuts, thinking you were making a heart-healthy choice, only to later wonder why your blood pressure keeps creeping up or your cholesterol won't budge? You've cut out chips, you avoid fried food. Maybe you've even swapped desserts for healthier snacks like peanuts or trail mix. But what if the very snacks you trust are quietly harming your heart? As a heart doctor, I've seen it too many times, seniors doing their best, unknowingly following habits that slowly weaken the heart, inch by inch, day by day. It's not your fault. The problem isn't just what you're eating, but what you think is healthy but isn't. In this video, I'll show you 7 kinds of nuts that are marketed as clean, natural, or smart, but are anything but heart-friendly. And more importantly, I'll guide you towards smarter, safer alternatives that actually protect your heart. If you've ever wondered why your efforts don't seem to work, this video is for you. Comment if you've experienced this frustration. And if you want more health tips made just for you, hit like and subscribe now. Let's protect your heart together. Number 1, the healthy snack that isn't. Let's start with a snack almost everyone has in their home. It's familiar. It's comforting. And for many older adults, it feels like the safest choice on the table. Honey roasted peanuts. You might grab a handful while watching television, chatting with friends, or waiting for dinner. They don't feel like junk food. They feel innocent, but that's exactly the problem. What makes these peanuts so dangerous isn't just what's on the surface. It's the belief that they're harmless. That belief creates a blind spot, and that blind spot, over time, creates damage. You can't feel until it's too late. Honey roasted peanuts are coated in a mix of refined sugar, salt, and processed oils. These aren't just extra calories. These are ingredients that inflame your blood vessels, push up your blood pressure, and slowly build sticky plaque inside your arteries. As a heart surgeon, I've seen what most people never will: the inside of those arteries, the hardened walls, the silent damage caused not by one big event, but by thousands of small decisions, like that daily handful of sweetened peanuts. Many seniors come into my office proud of their food choices. They've cut chips. They avoid fast food. They say they snack only on peanuts. But when we look closely, those peanuts are anything but clean. After age 60, your body becomes less forgiving. Sugar hits harder. Sätt lingers longer. Your arteries, once flexible, now stiffen more easily. And your metabolism no longer clears out harmful substances as quickly as it used to. That handful of peanuts you thought was healthy, it may be slowly chipping away at your heart's strength every single day. Here's what happens inside your body. The sugar in honey roasted peanuts spikes your insulin, raising inflammation throughout your system. The salt pulls water into your bloodstream, increasing pressure on your heart. The oils, they leave behind residues that stick to your arterial walls. This isn't about fear, it's about clarity. You deserve to know the truth, especially when you're trying to do the right thing. And here's the good news. You don't have to give up peanuts completely. In fact, plain, dry roasted peanuts without salt or sugar are rich in healthy fats and protein. They can support your heart, not stress it. The key is awareness. Read the label. Know what you're putting into your body. Small changes like switching to unsalted, uncoated peanuts can have a big impact over time. This isn't about perfection. It's about progress. You've worked hard to get to this stage of life. Your heart has carried you through so much. It deserves better than hidden sugars and oils in a snack that pretends to be healthy. So next time you reach for that bowl of peanuts, pause it. Ask yourself, is this helping my heart or quietly hurting it? Let that question guide your choices. You're not just snacking, you're shaping your future, one handful at a time. Number 2, salted lies in a tin. Now let's talk about something that's likely sitting in your pantry right now. A shiny tin, a resealable bag, a label that says smart snack or even heart healthy. Inside are salted mixed nuts. They look harmless, even helpful, but for your heart, they can be quietly destructive. These nuts are the perfect example of good intentions leading to hidden harm. Almonds, cashews, pistachios, all healthy on their own. But when tossed in salt and packaged for convenience, they turn into something else entirely. Something your heart doesn't welcome. The real problem is not the nut, it's the sodium. Small amounts might seem harmless, but that's the catch. You rarely stop at one small handful. You eat while watching television. While talking on the phone, you reach in again and again, without realizing just how much salt is adding up. For people over 60, this matters more than ever. Your body doesn't flush out sodium as efficiently as it once did. Your arteries are more sensitive. Your heart is working harder to keep everything balanced. And that pinch of salt, that used to be no big deal, it can now pressurize your arteries and strain your heart. Every time your blood vessels absorb too much salt, they begin to stiffen. That stiffness raises your blood pressure and forces your heart to beat harder, longer, and with more resistance over time. This constant pressure can lead to thickened heart walls, reduced circulation, and eventually, a greater risk of heart failure. What makes salted mixed nuts so dangerous is their convenience. They sneak into your day, a handful here, a few more after lunch. You're not aware of how much sodium you've taken in, and your heart is left to deal with the consequences. And here's the part that frustrates so many of my patients. They avoid fried foods, they don't eat processed meat. They choose nuts instead of chips. But they're still getting high blood pressure readings, still feeling fatigued, still wondering what's going wrong. When I dig deeper, I find those innocent tins of salted mixed nuts, the trusted snack, the better option. But they're loaded with more sodium than your heart needs for an entire day. The solution isn't to stop eating nuts. It's to return to the original form, raw or dry roasted, unsalted. If you want flavor, add your own at home. Use a pinch of cinnamon, a sprinkle of turmeric, fresh rosemary. You don't need salt to enjoy a good crunch. With just a small change, you take back control. You move from mindless habit to mindful health. You're not giving anything up. You're choosing what supports your body, not what slowly breaks it down. Salted mixed nuts are easy to love, but your heart is easier to lose if you're not careful. Make the switch. Choose purity over packaging. Your heart will thank you with every steady beat. Number 3, the chocolate trap. Now let's talk about one of the most deceptive snacks on the list. Chocolate-covered nuts. They feel like the perfect middle ground, a little indulgent, but still full of protein and fiber. A healthier choice. Right? That's exactly why they're so dangerous. Because they don't look like candy. They look like balance, like you've found a way to treat yourself and still stay on track. But what's really happening inside your body is something very different. These snacks are often packed with sugar, unhealthy fats, and oils that trigger inflammation. And after 60, your heart no longer has the same resilience to handle those daily insults. The sugar in chocolate-coated nuts might not seem like much, a few pieces here and there, but sugar builds. It raises your insulin, thickens your blood, and slowly adds stress to your arteries and your heart muscle. The chocolate itself is usually milk-based, filled with sweeteners, syrups, and emulsifiers. That's a long way from the antioxidant-rich dark chocolate you might have heard is good for you. In this form, it does more harm than help. What makes this even trickier is the emotional side. These treats feel comforting. They show up as gifts, holiday snacks, or little rewards at the end of a long day. You associate them with warmth, kindness, even love. But inside your body, love doesn't feel like this. Your artery don't see chocolate. They see sugar spikes, fat overload, and inflammation over time. This leads to narrowed vessels, increased blood pressure, and elevated heart risk. I've seen so many patients fall into this trap. They're not eating cake. They're not buying candy bars. But they keep a jar of chocolate-covered almonds in the kitchen, and that habit becomes daily, then nightly, then automatic, and the weight gain begins. Not always a lot, but around the belly. That kind of fat is dangerous. It wraps around your organs and increases your chance of heart attack. And the worst part, you might not even know it's happening. The solution isn't to punish yourself or remove all sweetness from your life. The solution is clarity. If you love chocolate, choose a small square of dark chocolate with over 70% cocoa. Pair it with raw almonds or walnuts. Eat it slowly. Savor it. Let it be a moment of true satisfaction, not a disguised threat. This simple shift can make a powerful difference. You get the joy, but not the damage. You protect your heart while still enjoying your food. Chocolate-covered nuts look innocent. But if you're over mush, your heart deserves better than quiet harm, dressed up as a treat. So be kind, not just in how you eat, but in what you believe is good for you. You deserve real comfort, not just a sweet illusion. Number 4, trail mix or candy bag. Let's move to another snack that's often praised for being healthy, but can quietly work against your heart. Trail mix. It sounds like something hikers and athletes eat. It comes in bags with bold labels like energy blend or natural fuel. But what's really in those bags? For many older adults, trail mix feels like a smart option. It has nuts, fruit, maybe a little chocolate. It looks colorful, convenient, and seems far better than candy or chips. But when you read the label, the truth starts to show. Most commercial trail mixes are loaded with added sugar, salt, and processed oils. The raisins and cranberries, usually coated in syrup. The dried fruits, often preserved with added oils. The nuts, salted or roasted in vegetable oils that inflame your arteries. Even worse, many mixes include candy-coated chocolate pieces or yogurt-covered chunks. These look like fun little extras, but they're highly processed and packed with sugar. Suddenly, your heart-healthy snack starts to look more like a candy bag. And the portions are tricky. You pour some into a bowl. You snack while driving or watching television. You don't notice how much you've eaten, but your blood sugar does. So does your heart. This combination of sugar, salt, and processed fat hits your cardiovascular system hard. It raises your triglycerides, increases inflammation, strains your heart's ability to regulate pressure and rhythm. And if you're over 60, that strain builds faster than you might realize. I've seen this firsthand. Patients come in confused. They've given up cookies. They walk daily. They snack on trail mix because it feels responsible, but their labs show rising cholesterol, high blood sugar, and early signs of metabolic stress. They're shocked. And I understand why. The packaging misleads. The habits feel right, but inside, the ingredients are working against your health. So what can you do instead? Make your own mix at home. It's simple and actually delicious. Choose raw or dry roasted, unsalted almonds, walnuts, and pumpkin seeds. Add a few pieces of unsweetened dried berries, maybe a pinch of cinnamon or coconut flakes for flavor. That version fuels your body. It doesn't trick it. It supports your energy, your heart, and your health. Without the crash or the hidden damage, you don't have to give up snacking. You just have to make it real. When your food is honest, your heart can stay strong, and that's something worth reaching for every day. Number 5, flavored, but fake. Let's look at one more snack that tricks far too many people trying to eat better: flavored almonds. You've seen them. BBQ, ranch, wasabi, sriracha. They come in bright packaging and promise a fun, flavorful twist on a healthy food. But what's hidden inside tells a different story. At first glance, they seem like a smart choice. After all, they're almonds, and almonds are good for the heart, right? But the flavorings added to these snacks change everything. Most flavored nuts are coated in a mix of artificial seasonings, excess salt, sugar, and preservatives. These ingredients aren't just extra. They are harmful, especially for a heart that's already working harder with age. They trigger inflammation and raise blood pressure without you even realizing it. And here's what makes it worse. These flavors are designed to keep you coming back for more. One handful leads to another. They're addictive by design. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because the ingredients make it hard to stop. This is especially risky after 60. Your kidneys don't filter as quickly. Your arteries respond more sharply to sodium and chemicals. Your heart doesn't recover from pressure as fast. So every bite matters more now than it did years ago. I've met many seniors who switched from chips to flavored almonds, thinking they'd made a healthy change. They were making an effort, but their heart numbers didn't improve. Sometimes they got worse. What they didn't realize is that these bold flavored almonds aren't far off from junk food. They just wear a healthier mask. The packaging tells you they're smart snacking, but the ingredients tell your heart a different story. That doesn't mean you need to avoid almonds. In fact, almonds can be incredibly supportive for your heart, but they need to be in their pure form. Raw or dry roasted, unsalted, no artificial coatings. If you miss the flavor, make your own mix at home. Toss your almonds with turmeric. Sprinkle a little cinnamon. Add chili powder if you like heat. Real flavor from real food. No hidden chemicals. No surprises for your heart. This is about reclaiming control, about recognizing that health isn't just in what you eat, but how it's made and how often. And when you choose to be intentional, even with small snacks, you give your body a chance to heal. You give your heart room to breathe again. So the next time you see a bag of flavored almonds, pause it. Look past the fun label. Ask yourself if it's supporting your health or simply entertaining your taste buds at a cost. Your heart deserves better than fake flavor. It deserves the real thing. Honest food, honest care, and a future you can feel proud of. Number 6, the creamy danger. Now let's talk about a nut that feels luxurious, smooth, and satisfying. Cashews. They're creamy and rich and incredibly easy to love. For many seniors, cashews have become a daily habit, something to reach for without much thought. They don't seem dangerous. They're not coated in sugar or salt. They don't look processed or unhealthy. But that's what makes them especially tricky. Because the real issue with cashews isn't what's added, it's how much you eat. Cashews are naturally higher in saturated fat compared to many other nuts. In small amounts, that's not a problem. But most people eat more than they realize. 2 handfuls instead of 1. A few pieces after each meal. It adds up fast. And after 60, your body doesn't manage that fat the same way it used to. Your metabolism slows. Your arteries become more vulnerable. What you once burned off easily now lingers, settling around your mid-number and pressing against your heart. I've seen patients do everything else right. They walk daily. They avoid sugar. But their cholesterol stays high. Their weight creeps up. The quiet culprit: too many cashews. Too often, the danger is not in enjoying cashews. It's in forgetting that even healthy foods need boundaries. Treat cashews like you would dessert. An occasional pleasure, not a daily routine. If you love nuts, rotate your choices. Mix in lighter options like almonds or walnuts. Measure out your servings instead of eating from the bag. That small shift can protect your heart in a big way. Cashews are not the enemy. But like many things, they need balance. When you pay attention, you give your body the respect it deserves. You stop eating by habit and start eating with intention. And that can change everything. Your heart needs space to heal, not just from bad habits, but from the quiet ones that go unnoticed. Choose wisely and give your heart room to stay strong. Number 7, the invisible oil that damages your heart. There's one more threat hiding in plain sight. It's not the nut itself. It's what the nut is cooked in. Vegetable oils like soybean, corn, and canola oil. They're everywhere. Cheap, mass-produced, and nearly invisible. You see the words roasted on the label and think it means healthy. But most store-bought roasted nuts are coated in these oils. You can't smell it. You can't taste it. But your body feels it. These oils are high in omega-6 fatty acids. In small amounts, omega-6 is okay. But in the quantities found in most processed snacks, it becomes a problem. It fuels inflammation. It disrupts the balance inside your body. And your heart ends up paying the price. Inflammation doesn't always show up with symptoms. It creeps in slowly. It thickens artery walls. It raises blood pressure. It stresses your heart every single day, quietly and consistently. I've had patients do all the right things. They cut back on sugar. They walk. They read nutrition labels. But when we look closer, they've been eating roasted nuts daily. Nuts soaked in these refined oils. And their lab results don't lie. Their inflammation markers stay high. Their cholesterol stays stubborn. Their heart struggles to recover after exertion. They're confused, frustrated, and honestly, I don't blame them. Because vegetable oils don't scream danger. They're hidden in small print. They're presented as neutral, but they're far from harmless, especially for aging hearts. If you're over Altmush, your cardiovascular system becomes more sensitive, recovery slows, protection matters more than ever, and these oils take away more than they give. But here's what you can do. It's simple. Choose nuts that are raw or dry roasted. Check the ingredients. If the label says roasted in vegetable oil, put it back. That small act protects your heart. Better yet, roast your own nuts at home. Use a low oven. Add natural spices like rosemary or turmeric. You control the process. You choose what touches your food. And in doing so, you protect your future. This isn't about fear. It's about power. The power to understand what's quietly harming you, and the power to choose differently. Because at this stage in life, every choice counts more. Your body still wants to heal. Your heart still wants to be strong. But it needs your help. So read the labels. Ask questions. Don't settle for what's convenient. Settle for what's kind to your heart. Even the healthiest nut can hurt you if it's cooked the wrong way. But when you take back control, that same nut becomes a source of strength, and that's a small change worth making. For your heart, for your health, and for every day you still have ahead. So here's the deeper question. If so many of these snacks are marketed as healthy, why are they quietly causing harm? Why do smart, caring people still end up with high blood pressure, rising cholesterol, or unexpected heart issues? The answer isn't just about food. It's about trust. For years, we've been taught to believe the label, to trust that words like roasted, healthy, or natural mean safe. But marketing doesn't always tell the full story. What you're really facing isn't just a nutrition issue. It's a clarity issue. It's the gap between what something looks like and what it really does inside your body. And that gap can grow over time, especially as we get older. Our metabolism slows, our tolerance changes, and the margin for error shrinks. What felt fine at 40 might become risky at 65. But here's the good news. You don't need to get everything perfect. You just need to see clearly, to ask questions, to slow down and choose with intention instead of habit. Because this isn't just about snacks. It's about reclaiming trust in your own choices. It's about knowing that you can support your health, not by doing more, but by doing what truly matters. You're not weak for being misled. You're not behind because you believe the label. You're here now. You're aware, and that alone puts you miles ahead of where you were yesterday. This journey isn't about perfection. It's about presence, about giving yourself the clarity you deserve, and in doing so, creating space to feel better, stronger, and more alive. Because the real change doesn't come from removing one food, it comes from shifting the way you see it, from thinking you're stuck with what's offered to realizing you have the power to choose what truly serves you. You deserve food that supports your body, not just sells you an idea. You deserve habits that build strength, not confusion. And most of all, you deserve to live with trust in your food, your health, and yourself. Now you've seen how even healthy-looking snacks can carry hidden risks, especially for your heart. From flavored coatings to invisible oils. These small details matter more than we think. The good news is, you're not stuck. With awareness comes the power to make better choices. You don't need to give up everything you love. You just need to choose what truly loves your heart back. Raw. Simple. Honest foods can offer comfort and strength at the same time. And those small changes, they add up. You still have time to protect your energy, your independence, and your peace of mind. Your next snack can be a step toward healing, not harm. If you've experienced any of these habits or made a change you're proud of, I'd love to hear from you. Share your story in the comments. And if this message spoke to you, like the video and subscribe for more. You're not alone on this journey.